Let's go and get
Yeah.
into this thing, man. So, welcome back. Keep it thorough Thursdays. Episode 62.
62.
Maximizing on life challenges, on life's challenges. That's what we're gonna be discussing today. I think we all deal with challenges. We all go through ups and downs. It's like a part of life. And I guess how you kind of deal with those downs kind of dictates a lot of different things, right? Because depending on how you deal with those challenges, right, you may not be able to receive your blessings because you may be in a bad place, right? But yeah, without getting too much more into it and kind of getting into the episode. So episode 62, Maximizing Life Challenges, your boy E-Double.
Yeah. Beneficial day to everybody. Cedric Lavelle, and as usual, appreciate you all for tuning in to Keep It Thorough Thursdays, where we just give you the real behind business, health, money, and self-development. Man, it's crazy to think that we already at 62 episodes, bro. 62, man. That's wild.
Yeah.
Getting up there, man. Almost to 100.
Hey, but knocking it out, man. Consistency is key.
Yes, there it is, brother. Let's get to it.
Hey, but yeah, so when we talk about challenges, right? You can think of challenges like a test, right? Or like something that you need to overcome or pass or get through, right? So in this first segment, we're gonna go with the theme of passing a test. So life's greatest study guide. So I guess it kind of, what are challenges, man, and how do they play a role in our lives, and
Absolutely,
kind of what is your viewpoint on challenges?
So like you said earlier, man, we all endure different sets of challenges. Some of those challenges can be from family. Some of them can be from your job. Some of them can be from your spouse, career, anything, man. Anything that you can really think about as it relates to problems or obstacles, we all deal with them. And just like we discussed on our episode, I can't remember which week it was when we were talking about perspective, but when we're dealing with challenges, there's always a different perspective that every individual brings into those situations. And I've always been, I don't say always been under the belief, but as I've grown and gotten wiser and older, I've grown to believe and think that with challenges, those are just opportunities that's dressed up as obstacles, right? Like this is a moment where I can be afforded the opportunity to grow and to learn, see my strengths, see my weaknesses, see how far I've come from where I potentially once was as it relates to different things that I've dealt with in the past, and see how much I've grown and moved forwards. And so in this particular case, as we're talking about passing a test, obviously you can think about it as like, when you're going through something and you're wanting to pass a test, but problems and obstacles are tests for you. You're tested on many different accounts. You're tested on many different fronts, mentally, physically, spiritually. You're always going to be tested in many different situations. And challenges and the experiences of challenges can be like a study guide for you, right? Because with the study guide, obviously, it gives you everything that you need to know and everything that you need to learn in order to pass the upcoming test, right? And as we experience challenges and as we go through certain things, we are able to build up our own study guide, in a sense, right? When we go through something, we're able to see our strengths, we're able to see our weaknesses, we're able to see the areas where we're lacking, where we may need help, where we may have responded incorrectly, or not had the best tone as you were discussing something with somebody. And so if you're an individual that's looking to progress, and you're an individual that's looking to move forward and advance, you can take any of those moments and be like, okay, I got to fix that. Like, I don't like the way that I handled that situation. I don't like the way I responded to that particular challenge. let me fix that, right? And a lot of times, you know, with challenges, they're going to always look different. They're going to always be disguised differently, or we're going to, they come up at different points in time in life, but you can always refer back to those moments where you were faced with something. It's like, okay, I remember how I responded this last time. Let me use that challenge to my advantage in this particular moment and make certain I don't respond in this way. I'll make certain that I don't get too emotional and I'm allowing myself to feed into negativity or whatever that situation may be, to where, you know, the outcome is not favorable, right? Because with any challenge, you want to get over the obstacle. Like, you
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah,
have to continue to go through it and you're not seeing any changes, right? But obviously, without challenge, there's no change. You know what I'm saying? And in order to get through something, you're going to have to, you know, grow through it, right? You're going to have to learn from it. You're going to have to understand it. That way, as you encounter certain things, as you move forward, you can do better for it the next time. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, hey, the analogy you gave, man, that, you know, life is the test basically, right? And
Absolutely.
your challenges are your study guide for the test is like perfect way to put it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because like through all the challenges, as you mentioned, you learn various different things, right? Like, because, you know, we deal with all types of challenges, you know, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, you
Yeah.
know, whatever the case may be. We deal with various different challenges, and the way what we learn as we get through those challenges. And the reality is, if you woke up today, you've gotten through 100% of the challenges you've ever had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you've gotten through them. You know what I'm saying? So like, or you may be in the process of getting
Getting through
through
it.
the most recent one, but all of the ones up to this point, you've gotten through them.
You've gotten
You know what
through
I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
And those have been, you know, your study guides, your life experiences that prepare you uh, for, you know, bigger and better things down the road, and prepare you. So I like that analogy a lot, man.
Absolutely, man. So three key things that you want to know as it relates to challenges. So one, challenges provide the inspiration to never quit, right? And so, as I was saying earlier, man, like challenges are like the obstacles, and with every obstacle, you can look at it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to learn, to evolve, and to grow, right? And if you're inspired by those moments, those challenges are going to cause you to not want to quit. Like, you're going to want to figure it out. You're going to want to see yourself get past that situation and not allow it to overwhelm you or get the best of you, right? So challenges can do that for you, right? It can give you that inspiration that you need to never want to quit, right? You want to keep moving forward, because I posted this the other day. You know, you don't lose if you don't quit, right? If you're not quitting, there's no way that you can lose, because you're continuing to fight, to fight, to fight until you get over that hump and you get to a win, right? And it's all about the mindset. You know what I'm saying? If you have the mindset to win and you continue to put your best foot forward, the results are going to be favorable, right? The next one is challenges provide the motivation to keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And so through those challenges, as you encounter certain things, and as you garner the understanding and the knowledge that you need, you can use that as confidence to move you forward, right? You can understand that, you know what, I've seen a situation similar to this in the past, or I've experienced something like this before. I know what I have in my toolkit that I can use in this situation that's going to allow me to move forward. I'm able to navigate and move past this dilemma or this roadblock because I've seen this before. This is familiar to me. You know what I'm saying? These conversations are familiar to me. You know, this interaction with this person is familiar to me, or this situation that I'm experiencing right now, I may not fully understand it, but the emotions and the feelings that I have are similar to something that I've dealt with in the past. And this is how I got through it. And this is what I can use in this particular moment right here, right? And so that's another way that challenges, you know, can be helpful and keep you moving forward. And the last one is just challenges provide the power to never look back, right? And so when you experience certain things in life, in many instances, you don't want to go back there, right? You don't want to experience some of those struggles and some of those hard times that you had as you had to endure some of those challenges, right? And so in many instances, those challenges are going to give you the power to never look back. Like it's like I don't want to go through that anymore. I don't want to have to experience that anymore. So I'm going to allow this challenge that I had to give me the power to never look back. I'm not gonna worry about what happened then, what I had to go through. I'm not gonna allow my past to pull me down, but I'm gonna allow it to push me forward.
And really, I think it's just like learning,
Yeah,
right? Learning
absolutely.
from that experience, which puts you in a situation not to repeat the same actions you took before to end up in that place, right? And then you
Indeed.
don't have to go back.
That's
You don't got to look
it,
back.
bro.
You got to,
You ain't
backtrack.
gotta backtrack. So yeah, challenges provide the inspiration to never quit. Challenges provide the motivation to keep moving forward. And then also challenges provide the power to never look back. 3 key things you want to know with challenges.
So cool. So moving on to the next segment, right? So optimism is opportunity. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to list 5 ways that challenges can actually be helpful to your life and your growth as a person, either professionally or personally, right? Because as we mentioned, challenges, um, they're like opportunities. They present opportunities for you to grow through things and to acquire knowledge and to gain skill sets that'll serve you down the road. So the first way that challenges can be helpful is they can inspire creativity, right? And what do I mean by that? So whenever you're going through a difficult problem, sometimes the way that you normally do things won't solve this particular
Yeah,
challenge, right? So you kind of got to get in your bag a little bit, right? You got to be creative. Like, what are ways I can do to deal with this, right? And to
yeah,
get through this. So just to give an example, right? Say there's something that you're saving for, right? And you already got a budget mapped out, you know how much you make, and you like, damn, well, in order for me to, pay for this, it's gonna take me X amount of time. And like I want it faster than that. Like I need to get it quicker than that, right? So
right.
you got to be creative, right? So like what are some ways you can generate some additional income, right? And that'll require you to get creative, right? And inspire that creativity that all of us has that inside of us. It's just about unlocking that door to unleash it. But so that's the first way, right? Challenges can inspire creativity. Next on the list is it can boost your confidence, right? And the way it does that is because as you go through those challenges and those difficult times and you get through them, you're able to look back and pat yourself on the back, right? Like I
Yeah,
was able to get through that. Like that was very challenging. It was hard on me, you know what I mean? It
absolutely.
took a lot out of me, but I fought and I was able to get through that, right? And that builds and boosts confidence. So now when you come against something similar, or as said was just mentioned, it's something familiar, and maybe that experience isn't familiar, but those feelings that you got are familiar, you're better equipped to deal with that challenge, right? So it definitely boosts your
And
confidence.
that kind of equates to from a athletic standpoint, right? Like when you're in competition and you're competing against an opponent, you know, as you're going through everything that you've studied, as you prepared for the game, and you're faced with so many different challenges, and when you overcome those challenges within that game, that boosts every player's confidence. You know what I'm saying? It's 4th and goal, and you need a first down, and you're able to do it. I mean, you could. I don't know how many people here look at football, but if you looked at football and you watched the Philadelphia Eagles during their season, anytime that they were in a 4th and short, they would always do like a quarterback sneak, and they got the first down every time, bro. Every time. Like even in the Super Bowl, it's 4th and short. They do a quarterback sneak, they get the first down.
Yeah, yeah,
But they have the confidence to do that even on the highest stage because all throughout the season, no one could stop them. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? No one could keep them from getting a first down. So their confidence was always through the roof. So with challenges, anytime that you get over a challenge, you know what I'm saying, and you're consistently like looking back at your wins and like, dang, like I went through this situation for X amount of time, I got through it, I can do it again. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no,
Like,
it 1,000% boosts your confidence, right? So that challenges, that's how they can be helpful, by boosting your confidence. So the next on the list is it improves your problem solving skills, right? So not only, like we mentioned, creativity and how certain challenges require you to kind of get in your bag and be creative to solve the problem, but sometimes it's not about necessarily being creative, but just really kind of fully
understanding
understanding what
what's
the
going on.
problem is,
Yeah.
so that you can solve it, right? And you know, when you're dealing with certain challenges, you know, whether professionally or personally, right? Like, I'm sure we all can relate to having to solve some complex problems at work, right? Which typically that's what a job is. You're serving some sort of, you're solving a problem of some sort. There's some sort of need for your service, right? But when you go through life and you deal with those problems and being, not using your creativity as well, but also just overcoming those difficulties, right? You
Yeah.
establish new skills and new ways to do things, right? And as said, mentioned in one of the previous episodes, you kind of add that to your tool belt, right? So you got additional ways of approaching situations, which also builds your critical thinking skills, right? So you're quicker on your feet. You know what I'm saying? Like you're able to see things and identify them maybe a little faster than other people who haven't dealt with those same types of situations, right? So that's another way that challenges can be helpful.
You know how to
Yeah,
execute.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's through the experience that you're now able to execute more effectively. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like you're saying, like with problem solving skills, it's like, okay, yeah, this was the experience I had. Now that I'm in this again, okay, yeah, I know what I need to do. I know how to
And then
execute the
I
plan
think the
and get to the
key too,
result.
right, is not all situations are the same,
Right.
but some of the same concepts can be applied to various
Yeah.
different situations, right?
Right.
And when it comes to like solving problems and your problem solving skills, those types of concepts that you pick up along the way are applicable, however you want to say it, to various other situations, right?
Applicable.
Um,
Potato, potato, tomato, tomato.
So, but next on the list, the way that challenges are helpful is it can strengthen your
Yeah.
relationships, and this is a big one. This is a real big one, right? So, it's real easy when you're faced with challenges in like your friendships or your relationships to just call it quits, right? Like I don't deal with him no more. I don't deal with her no more. You know, they f me over or whatever the case may be, right? But for those who stick around and I would say 95% of the time, those challenges comes from a misunderstanding of some sort, right? Where y'all just aren't really hearing each other. You know, everybody's kind of, you know, dealing with their pride and their ego and not really hearing the other person out, right? But once you go through those type of challenges with various relationships in your life, it actually builds that relationship, right? Because now, and you know, you can use like your spouse as an example, right? Or a marriage or whatever the case may be, right? As you go through challenges, if you're able to successfully get through those challenges, it's going to build a stronger foundation that y'all can build up on, right? And the same applies to friendships, professional relationships, you know, all types of relationships with your kids, with your mother, your father, whatever the case may be. So that's another way that challenges can be helpful and beneficial, right? Where they can help to strengthen your relationships, and especially if y'all are obviously if you're at odds with each other, you guys are dealing you know, dealing with a challenge together. But if the challenge isn't necessarily you two having the problem, but a challenge that you both are facing, right?
Right.
And you can work at it
Together.
together, that can also you know, help to strengthen your relationships, right?
Absolutely.
And then last but not least on the list is it can encourage learning. And, you know, this is another big one because once you get faced with certain challenges or situations, it may be a challenge because of your lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
You just may not have the necessary skill set or necessary understanding to solve the challenge, which can prompt you to go do some research to go learn how to solve, you know, whatever the problem is, right? And, you know, anything that encourages learning and furthering your education is always a big positive in my book, right?
Oh,
So
sure.
so that's another way where challenges can be extremely helpful. So just to recap, it can increase your creativity, it can boost your confidence, It can improve your problem solving skills. It can strengthen your relationships, and it can encourage learning, right? So what's the impact of basically having that optimistic outlook on challenges, right? And then, you know, some of the things that were listed here where they're beneficial to you, like what's the impact of that? So challenges have several positive impacts that can be helpful in many ways. When there's a conscious decision to find the good, even through tough times, optimism has the ability to make desired outcomes more obtainable, right? So as you deal with these various challenges, you're able to overcome these challenges. You have a more positive outlook, right? You leading with gratitude, right? Like you trying to find the positive in these negative situations, but you're still learning from these negative situations. It improves your outlook and your ability to navigate through those rough patches a little better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't weigh you down as much, you know? And I've said this a million times. I'm a firm believer in the law of averages, right? So that means when there's some bad, whole lot of bad, then there's a whole lot of good coming, and vice versa, right? Not to say I'm a pessimist and I'm like, oh, some bad shit's coming. Not like that, but let me just be prepared, right? Let me not get too high, right? Let me not, you know, take these good times in for granted, you know, and just as if it's gonna always be like this, right? So very, very important to kind of have that balance. But moving on, right? So thinking different. As you go through these challenges, right, and you learn and you grow, you're gonna think differently, right? I hate when people say they don't change, right? Like, okay, well, don't use the word change. You grew, you know what I mean? You're different. You definitely shouldn't be the same person at 30, 35 that you were at 21. You know what I'm saying? Like your experiences and challenges and everything that you've gone through in life should mold you into a bigger, better, more reasonable, logical person. You know what I'm saying? And so you should be thinking differently, right? But so we're gonna outline 4 mindset shifts to positively face challenges. I'm gonna let you take the first 2, say it, and I'm not going to say the 2.
Absolutely. So number 1, challenges are opportunities for growth. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, view them as opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. So like we were saying earlier, right? Like challenges are opportunities that you have to grow. You know, these are certain things that you can learn from, you can grow from, and you can improve from, right? And so really what this entire episode is really shifting the mindset on how we look at challenges, right? Like not looking at challenges as such a negative thing that you don't want to deal with. Like, I don't want to face any challenges. Like, that's not reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all going to have to go through something at some point in time, right? And the mission is to be prepared when challenges come about, right? Because
the reality are challenges present the opportunity for growth.
Absolutely.
You know, it puts you in an uncomfortable situation that you haven't been in, that you need to adapt and adjust to.
Yeah.
Right. So nothing but positive comes from that, right? But it's all about your perspective and how you approach the situation.
Absolutely. And definitely having more of a growth mindset opposed to a fixed mindset will allow you to endure and receive those challenges a little bit differently, right? Because if you embrace those challenges whenever they come about, it's like, okay, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from this situation? And what areas can I improve as I've had to endure this situation, right? Because I believe that if you take a more positive approach to it and a more optimistic and opportunistic approach to challenges, it's going to allow you to navigate through them much more effectively and much more efficiently, right? Like, it's not going to have a significant impact on you in a negative way to it puts you at odds or you feel like it's unbearable or anything like that. Like, you're going to continue to, like we were saying earlier, it's going to give you the power to not look back. It's going to give you the motivation to keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And then the next one is this: the challenge is temporary. So remember that challenges are not permanent and that they will eventually pass. Keeping the mind stayed and focused on finding a solution instead of getting stuck in negative thinking can always push you forward, right? And so just looking at those situations and seeing that challenge as something that's temporary. And one thing that you can also do as well, too, you know, I always believe that there's positivity in examples that you can pull from everywhere, right? And I think the saying goes to every problem that you face, there's somebody out there that found a solution to it, right? And so if you're enduring something and you're going through something, if you can learn, like he was just saying, you know, if you learn through those situations and you're looking for guidance, you can come across somebody who may have went through that similar situation, got through it, and you can, you know, take strategies and tips from that. It's like, okay, if somebody else got through it, I know I can get through this situation as well too. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how long the process is going to be, but I'm going to consider this moment that I'm experiencing as something that's temporary, because I know that I can get past this, right? I know that eventually that this can pass, and I can move forward and keep my mind stayed focused on being solution oriented, right? Because again, like we've always said, there is no solution that you can find if you're always stuck in stress.
Well,
Right?
it's perspective, right?
Yeah,
If all you're doing is focused on the negative, it gets very difficult to see the positive, right?
absolutely.
So like, and finding a solution is a positive, right? That's not a negative. So like, if you're so down and, oh, like, why is this happening to me? I can't believe this. This is so difficult. I can't do this. We've had episodes where we talk about the subconscious mind, right? And the subconscious don't know the difference, right? If
Yeah,
you're feeding in that negativity, it's gonna believe it. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? So it's very important to speak positively, you know what I mean? Even in difficult situations, right? Never speak badly of yourself. Ever. Don't ever talk bad to yourself, even if you're joking. Like I just don't play like that. I don't do that, right? But yeah, it's definitely temporary. And then look back at everything else you've been through in your life, right? You've literally gotten through every other challenge.
Right.
Every one. So why can't you get through this one?
Absolutely. You can do it.
So
You got, bro.
yeah. So the next on the list is I can learn from this experience. And we really just hit the nail on this, right? No matter the outcome, there's always something to learn from a challenging experience. Take the opportunity to reflect on what you can do differently next time, or what you've learned from the experience. So every time you go through a challenge, there's something to be learned, you know, period, point blank. And you have to have that optimistic outlook on the situation to learn whatever lesson there is to be learned from it, right? But just keep that in mind as you're going through it, right? Like, okay, why am I in this situation? What caused what occurred to put me in this challenging situation, right? And what could I do differently next time to prevent that,
Mhm.
right? And then also whatever um you learn once you overcome the situation, you're able to then apply those things to various other problems that you encounter down the road where the challenge won't be as difficult, right?
Right. Right.
And then last but not least is I will focus on what I can control. And this, I say this all the time. I preach this all the time to a lot of different people. You control the controllables. Spending your time worrying about things you have absolutely no control over is the biggest waste of time.
It's the biggest waste
Literally,
of
it is
time.
the biggest waste of time. Like, why should I worry about something I literally have no
No
control over,
control over.
right? And
Yeah.
then don't like the mind is a very powerful thing, right? And if you let it wander and you get into that doubt and self-pity and you know what I mean, all that, like it can be a very, very unforgiving, challenging place to be, right? You know, like they to give you an example, right? They say health is when it comes to your health, it's just as much mental as it is physical,
Mhm.
right? And now there was something that I seen on, I think it was on Instagram, I think, or Facebook or something. Now I don't know if this was true, but the point it was getting across, I think, is valid regardless, right? And what it was is a guy had like stage 4 cancer or something like that, right? And they told him he had, you know, X amount of time to live, maybe 3-4 months, right? And the guy was doing this research on these you know, new treatments for cancer, right? That, you know, was in early stages. Not a lot of tests were done on them. But, you know, some of the initial scientific reviews or studies, was saying that it had some promising results, right? So he asked his doctor for the medicine. Well, he took the medicine, and after a couple weeks, he came back. They said the cancer was like melting away, like hot butter, right?
Yeah.
Like it was just going away. And the doctor had looked into the medicine, and some more research that came out about it and about how ineffective it was, that it wasn't very effective, right? So he told the guy that, right? So the guy keeps taking the medication, but a lot of the cancer comes back because now in his mind, he's like, oh, this isn't working. Whereas before he had all of this confidence in it, and just a much more positive attitude and outlook, right? But now he's back to being depressed because of what the study said, right?
Yeah.
So, and basically it was some back and forth of him thinking that there was, possibility and opportunity for the medication to work, and then learning as they concluded the studies that it was ineffective and that it was really kind of like a placebo, but that the power was inside of him and his mind, right? And the reason I want to go back to that, the reason I said all of that is to get back to the point that focus on what you can control, man, right? The mind is powerful, man. If you tell yourself you can get through it, you can get through it. You know what I mean? If you really convince yourself that no challenge is too big to overcome, no challenge is too big to overcome. You know what I'm saying? And if you focus and plan and, have a positive mindset on whatever challenge you're facing or whatever goal you set or whatever it is you're looking to accomplish, you can do it. Period. It's literally as simple as that. You can do whatever you put your mind to. And I know that's like super cliche, but it's the realest damn thing ever. So yeah, you want to hit us with the final thought set?
Final thought. When changing your mindset around challenges, you can feel more confident and empowered to take on difficult tasks, knowing that you have the ability to learn and grow from them. You can also experience feelings of resilience and facing adversity and simply having a new perspective on the moments you believe you can overcome. We are all faced with challenges in many different ways. By embracing the moments, though, with a sense of relentlessness, we can lead a more fulfilling and successful life, right? And so, as I was talking earlier about, with sports and being in competition and going against an opponent, right? Challenges are just like an opponent. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you're facing, and you have to be strategic. You have to be methodical. You know what I'm saying? You have to be resilient. You have to be relentless. If you are an athlete, or if you even were any type of competition, you know how it is when you're facing competition. You're facing someone or something, right? Like there's a different switch that comes on in your head, or should, whenever you're wanting to win at something, right? Like you can look at all the greatest athletes that ever played. You know what I'm saying? You can talk about the GOAT, LeBron James. If
I ain't even got to respond, man. I might hold on. I might have.
you could talk about the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to facing, look at this guy, man.
Hey, look,
facing,
he ain't got no clown face. I wish they had a face.
When it comes to facing challenges, right? But he said, "Excuse me, Michael Jordan." Okay, you want to say Michael Jordan? Anybody? It doesn't matter.
You corrected yourself. I ain't even have to say
when it comes to an opponent, or even Kobe, you know what I'm saying? The Mamba mentality.
Oh, right? Damn. I forgot. I forgot my man's was in here. My man's Mar was in here. Man, I was just arguing with these dudes when they was in town about this LeBron James. Man, come on,
we ain't gonna go into the details of that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Mamba mentality. You know what I'm saying? But all of those guys, they have a certain edge about them when it comes to challenges. You know what I'm saying? And we can't all be the next LeBron or MJ or Kobe, but in some instance or some regard, we can have a mindset in the killer instinct to want to get through challenges. You know what I'm saying? Like we can have that spirit of relentlessness and resilience and stick to itness to get through a problem and get through a situation, right? Because on the other side of that, there's the win. There's the victory. That's where you find purpose. That's where you find your passion. That's where you find the things that you desire the most, right? And as they say, like there's no change by staying in your comfort zone. you're gonna have to get uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna, in order to get to something, you're gonna have to go through something. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to experience things that's gonna, you know, really shape you and mold you for the good, or it's gonna mold you for the bad.
Hey,
You know
as
what I'm
I
saying?
said this a
It's your
million times,
choice.
right? Complacency is the death of progress, man.
Absolutely.
You can't just do what's easy, what's natural, what you're used to doing, and challenge the thought process. Or this is how I've always done it. Like challenge that,
Yeah.
right? Why are you still doing it that way? Or you know, or if it's something that you've learned from, you know, past generations, right? Like, well, that's just the way it's always been done.
Yeah.
Okay, question that.
Question that.
Is this
We had
still
an
the
episode
best
about
way
that.
that it should be
Yeah.
done, right? And really push yourself, man. It's very important, man. You got to be obsessed with pushing yourself. You got to be obsessed with being a better version of yourself, right? Like, a lot of people say they want a lot of things, right? But most people don't put forth the actions necessary to obtain those things. And most people, when they're presented with challenges, they go to path of least resistance, right? So they don't necessarily get over the challenge; they just avoid it,
Right.
right? But then that keeps you, one, stagnant and complacent, right? Like challenge yourself, man. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations to grow, right? Life is a gamble. I was saying something with I'm forgetting how to pronounce his name now. What's the
Aristotle.
investments do? Aristotle. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Aristotle Investments, right? And he was basically, he's getting into sports bets now, and people was coming at him like why are you doing that? That's gambling. What doing? He really had to break it down. Like, dude, life is a gamble. The stock market is gambling.
Yeah.
The cryptocurrency is gambling. Investing in a business is gambling. It's all about risk, right?
Yeah.
And managing your risk, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to gamble, right? Take
Take a
chances,
chance.
calculated risks,
Right.
right? To grow and improve. Now, and I've said this, you know, how I define risk, right? I define risk by lack of knowledge, right? The more knowledgeable you are about something, the less risky it becomes, right? So if there's 10 things you need to know about something and you know only 3 of those things, that's a 30%, 30% information. You're missing 70% of the information. That's going to be a lot more risky, right? But now if there's 10 things to learn and you know 7 of them, you know 70% of the information, right? Like that other 30% you can acquire. That's a less risky situation. Absolutely. So, you know, when you're dealing with these challenges, ask yourself, what's challenging about this, right? Like, what's the problem? What do I need to learn? What do I need to uncover? You know what I mean? And you'll get through it, man. You know, it's as simple as that.
Absolutely. And that's all it takes, man.
Did you have anything else you wanted to touch on?
Nah, bro, that's it. I think you summed it all up, man. Just get uncomfortable, embrace the challenges, embrace those moments, turn on the killer instinct, the Mamba mentality, or whatever you want to characterize it as, and get through the challenges, man. And know that on the other side of those challenges is the win, it's the victory, it's that feeling of being fulfilled. You know, it's that feeling of growth, of knowing that you got better, knowing that you improved through that situation, knowing that your relationships with your spouse or your friends or whomever has been strengthened through that situation. And like we said, man, this episode was really, you know, although we're talking about challenges, it's also about being optimistic. You know,
perspective. It all comes, man.
Perspective.
So many things in life comes down to perspective. Man.
Absolutely.
Like, and if you get to the nitty gritty, the way your perspective is shaped for those various different things can be a deep, you know, conversation.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's about how you look at them. It's about how you look at whatever it is, right? And obviously what we go through in life, our upbringing, all those various different things shapes our perspective. But as we grow and get older, our perspective needs to grow and change, right? And like Said made a mistake earlier. We're going to edit that out of the
whatever, man. I like
Said made a mistake earlier, right? Because he know Bron ain't the GOAT. Like it's just no even argument for that. But you know what I mean? It's cool though, right? He gonna learn from them challenges.
I'm the GOAT.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I'm the GOAT. I'm just gonna say I'm the GOAT at everything. I mean, when my brother used to ask me, was Ray Lewis better than me? And I would never say that Ray Lewis was better than me. Obviously, he was in the NFL. I'm playing in high school. I'm like, who?
Hey, but truth be told, that's the type of mindset you gotta have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I'll never say anybody
like
better
not
than me.
be realistic, but you gotta believe in your. Hey, there's somebody named Mr. Organic from Minnesota. I don't know if y'all know him or heard of him, but he got a slogan. He said, "Believe in yourself like you believe in God." That's one of the most powerful things, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that you God or nothing like that, but you should have the utmost, you know, belief in yourself.
Yeah.
You should believe in yourself so deeply
Absolutely.
that it, you know what I mean? That
Can't
it
nobody
sounds
tell
crazy
you
to people.
nothing, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He should believe in them like it sounds crazy to other people, right?
Right.
But then when you accomplish them things, then
They
they,
like, oh wow,
you know,
like okay, yeah, I get it. I see why you have such belief, and that's just like what we're talking about now with challenges. You know what I'm saying? If you believe that you can get through it and you're capable of it, and you do it, like people are gonna look back and like, oh wow, like you got through that situation, like you had to do what, and
yeah.
this is what happened. This is what the result was because you stuck with it and you got through it. And again, when things like this happen, and I'm gonna say this, and this is my mantra from now until forevermore. You're being beneficial, right? You have something that you can offer somebody else and share that experience because it's like, hey man, I went through this and this is how I got through it. Like this is what I can share with you to help you along the path, right? And we all need that. Like we all have to go through moments that are uncomfortable and that challenge us because from those moments, what you get are strategies. You get tools. You get a story. You get something that somebody else can potentially use and benefit from. But if you take yourself out of the fire too quick, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't ever get to the other side where you can give somebody something that can help and save them, you know, time, energy, or life, whatever the case may be. Like
Hey,
you're gonna miss that
that
opportunity.
somebody doesn't have to be a random person. That somebody can be your children. That somebody can be
Exactly,
your
bro.
children saying you avoid these challenging situations and you're not developing, you know, the proper skills or instilling the proper habits, right, into your children to have that optimistic and that fire under them to, you know, to push them and build their confidence, right?
Right.
You know, you got to kind of lead by example. So that's somebody that says referring to can be your children or your spouse or your best friend or, you know, whomever, right? But hey man, we greatly want to appreciate everybody who tuned in to the live as always. Making an announcement. This is actually about to be our last Facebook or Instagram live.
Back on Instagram, it's all Eric's fault. Okay, so everybody blame Eric. If I just want to say that, just
hey, well,
if it didn't happen.
Hey, I think most people know I'm the technical one of the bunch. So he right. If we leave and we come back, it was probably my fault. But anyway, we're gonna be moving over to YouTube live. Going live on YouTube. The content still will be posted to Instagram, but it'll be like live stream to Facebook. It'll be live stream to YouTube, and then it'll also be live stream to our website. I don't know if that's going to be like available right away on the website, but the other ones will be available starting next Thursday, right? So be sure to tune in still. You'll be able to tune in live. It's actually making it easier. It's making it easier. The quality is going to be a lot better, and it's going to be easier to be accessible by most people, right? Because if you're not on Instagram, and you don't follow us or you're not on you're not gonna catch the lives, right? So having it in those various places, and YouTube is a lot bigger platform for the type of content we're delivering anyway. So so starting next week, the lives will be on YouTube. If y'all have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, would greatly appreciate that. The YouTube channel is Keep It Thorough, youtube.com at Keep It Thorough 1, or if you just go search for Keep It Thorough or Keep It Thorough podcast on YouTube, it'll come up. But anything else you wanted to hit on? Y'all know the hats are on the website, so yeah, so y'all
absolutely.
can
no, I was just gonna say, like you was just saying, with us transitioning, from Instagram and going over. We
Said
can
she
do
just
that.
brought
We
a
can
good
share
point. Yeah,
YouTube as well. Yeah,
we'll
we can do
share
that.
that. We'll share that in the story.
You know, just everybody who's tuned in to the live streams, as we've been on Instagram for almost 62 weeks now, and delivering content, as Eric has said, countless amounts of time. Like we're all about quality and progression. This is the phase where we're progressing, and a lot of the things that you all have seen, we've wanted to expose everybody to our growth and our process and our
Real
building
time.
phase.
Y'all literally
Real
saying that.
time,
Y'all
you know.
seen when we first started, didn't have much structure, ain't had no website, ain't, you know what I mean? We learning and growing, and that was the point of this,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Learning and growing. The quality may not have always been 100% what we wanted it to be, but you know, I'm a firm believer in just presenting it. You know what I'm saying? Making it presentable.
The
And it
content
doesn't
has
have to
always
be
been
perfect.
quality. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, and we all know that I'm the
The
guy. I'm
content
the
that we've been
content
delivering
guy.
has
You
always
know,
been quality, but
I'm just saying, like
the method
you
at
said
which
technical. I
it's,
said content.
you said what? My
I
bad.
said you was the technical guy. I'm like, well, I'm the content guy that does the content. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, we greatly appreciate everybody who tunes in every week, and really has seen our growth, and we're going to continue to grow, man. We're going to continue to excel. We have a lot of great things that we're moving towards, collectively, individually. Our individual projects are pretty much our collective projects because we work on both of those together anyway. But again, man, we just appreciate everybody sincerely. Continue to tune in. We'll put the YouTube link in our story. We'll also add it on our highlights as well too. That's something I was supposed to be doing, but I haven't done it yet. You know, but anyway, we'll take care of that as well. You know what I'm saying? But that's it, bro. That's all I got. Content guy, man. Dang.
Hey, but I just want to end with this, man. And just like that, I forgot the point that I wanted to make. Oh, what she said. Thank you both for sharing and using this platform.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank
we
you for
appreciate
tuning in and listening. And I be saying when you be sharing the story and all that. So we greatly appreciate you. But what was there was something that I really wanted to say and I don't remember.
That comes with age, bro. Sometimes.
Yeah, I know. But hey,
age, man.
Greatly appreciate y'all. And as always, if you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough.
Keep it thorough.
And we'll holler. It's kind of
next
crazy.
time.
We ain't gonna be on Instagram no more. So it feel like we kind of ending, but we not. It's new beginning.
It's so hard
to say goodbye
to yesterday.
Hey, but all right, man. We'll holler at y'all next week, man.
All right, for sure.